participants, please be seated. We are immediately starting our next session. Wonderful panel, we are going to discuss about the unlocking the power of MIS reporting and benefits and insight. For this, I like to invite our own past president, sir, CA Kamlesh S. Vikamse sir on dais, with vice chairman of this wonderful committee, CA Dayanivas Sharma ji, CA Kumar Subiya sir, EDO and CFO of CET Limited, CA Jugal Mantri ji, CEO and Director Anand Rathi Global Finance, and CA Amit Kumar Chaudhary, VP Product Management Golden Source. And I request Coordinator CA Ravi Soni to escort all the dignitaries on the dais. While discussing for the capital market in first panel discussion investment ki Pathshala, we all learned that capital market is a roller coaster ride. It may go up and down, but one thing is very, very important to understand, that is 3R. RRR. Right business model, right valuation, and right timing. And to understand all these, the role of MIS is very, very important, and robust MIS can give relevant inputs to all the market stakeholders, be it broker, investor, and intermediaries and regulators. This MIS reporting is really critical that we have to understand from all our panelists over here. I request CA Ravi Soni to introduce all our panelists and keynote speaker first.
Thank you, Saurabh. It is my great pleasure to introduce today's all speakers. So first I will introduce CA Amit Kumar Chaudhary. Amit Kumar Chaudhary is a seasoned product manager and a strategic leader with over 2 decades of experience in fintech, serving the BFI sector, a qualified CA, CS, and CISA. He is specialized in data management and cloud data warehouse, ESG, IBOR. As a vice president, product management at a Gold Source, he has led the development of multi-million-dollar product line, pioneered next-gen data solution on a Snowflake and Databricks, and delivered enterprise-scale transformation that help financial institutions modernize their target operation, modern, and drive growth. Thank you, sir. We welcome you. Today's second speaker is CA Kamlesh Vikamse. CA Kamlesh Vikamse is an Indian chartered accountant with over 3 decades of professional experience. He has served as the president of Institute Chartered Accountants of India for the term 2005-2006, after being elected as a vice president in 2004. He was an elected member of the ICAI Central Council from 1998 to 2007. He was the president of the Confederation of the Asian and Pacific Accountancy. He is a senior partner of KKC and associate LLP Chartered Accountant, where he has been partner since 1962. He served as an independent director and director on the board of several prominent public sector and private sector companies such as AU Finance Bank, Navneet Education Limited, and Epiros. With this, I welcome you, sir. So today our next speaker is CA Shubham Goyal. Shubham Goyal is a qualified chartered accountant having the experience of working in private and public sector. His professional journey encompasses significant role in industry, in Ministry of Finance, Government of India, and International Financial Service Center Authority, IFCA, the unified financial regulator for the International Financial Service Center. In the initial phase of his career, Mr. Shubham Goyal worked in various multinational companies, including Big Four, where he excelled in the area of data analysis, audit, and taxation. Pursuant to this section in Indian Cost Accounting Services, Mr. Goyal transitioned to the Development of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, as an Assistant Director in February 2017. In his term for more than 3 years in DEA, he worked as a various policy initiative of the Government of India related to infrastructure sector, including the visibility of gap funding scheme. Additionally, Mr. Goyal has also contributed significantly to the development of regulatory framework with the IFC such as revamped listing regulation and the global access framework. With this, now I welcome CA Kumar Subaya. Sorry, sir. Kumar Subaya sir is currently the Executive Director of Finance and Chief Financial Officer of CEAT. He has joined CEAT in early 2015 and as the Vice President Material of Outsourcing for CEAT Limited. After spending little over 20 years with the Unilever, Hindustan Unilever, where he has handled various finance and commercial roles in the outside of India. His last role as at Unilever before joining the CEAT was a finance director, supply chain for the Southeast Asia based on Singapore. Mr. Kumar is a BCom graduate from the Loyola College, Chennai. He is also a chartered accountant and a cost accountant with a professional interest in both finance and supply chain. In his free time, he enjoys playing flute. His other hobbies are also photography and enjoy watching Bollywood movies. Now we welcome Dayanivas Sharma ji. He is currently leading dynamic technology driven committee known as AI in ICI. His dedication in integrating AI into the chartered accountancy is profound. He is currently leading a dynamic technology driven committee known as AI in ICI. His dedication in integration in artificial into chartered accountant is profound. CA Dayanand Sharma is qualified in 2005. Article with the PwC. Thereafter, he revived at Lakshmi Nivas and Company from. He has also worked on various assignments related to family business organization, various succession planning and others. With this brief, I also introduce. I will also welcome CA Jugal Mantri. CA Jugal Mantri is a CA Jugal Mantri is the director and CEO of Anand Rathi Global ARFJs, instrumental in setting up NBFC business from scratch from 0 to 25,000 crore balance sheet. Strategic vision, business expansion, fundraising, managing risk with the strong focus on technology and digital transformation. Rank holder, chartered accountant with over 30 years of experience. Career stated as Hari Bhakti and Tata Finance Limited. Completed the senior management program at IIM Ahmedabad and awarded as CFO for the best emerging corporate from ICA in 2024. With this, I will
Thank you, Ravi, for wonderful introduction. Let's welcome with a big round of applause all our panelists. I recognize the presence of past WRC Chairman CA Murtuza Kachwala ji, under whom I learned so many things during my last council tenure. Now it's time to hear from our own past president, Sir CA Kamlesh, as we come say. Sir, over to you first for your keynote address.
I would request everyone to please come in the front instead of sitting in the back. Can you please come in the front?
Good afternoon. Distinguished seniors, esteemed colleagues, and guests. It's my privilege to be here in the National Conference on Capital Market today afternoon. After the brilliant session on investment Pathshala, we also now take up the important subject of unlocking the power of MIS, reporting benefits and insights. As chartered accountants, we deal in numbers. But let me ask you a question. Are your numbers telling you a story, or are they just a static ledger entry. Because the definition of MIS has undergone a sea change from the years when I started my career in 1982. I correct the person who introduced me. I believe he said 1962. If it was 1962, I wouldn't be sitting here. Would be in heaven or hell somewhere else. I don't know where. But I qualified in 1982. So the definition of MIS, and Jugal is here, of course, and his boss, the chairman of Anand Rathi Group, Mr. Anand Rathi, was in the Aditya Birla Group when I started my career in 1978 rather, as an article clerk. He was the president of Indian Rayon, as it was then called. After that, Aditya Birla Nuvo, and then Grasim. And we were the auditors. I truly understood the definition of MIS under him. And I distinctly remember he gave one, a lecture on MIS. And he mentioned about the fact that, MIS we feel is a chore, like a daily, at the month end, the people of the finance department keep reporting numbers to the top management as to, what are the sales, this, that, profitability, blah, 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 all those things. But it's not that, it's dynamic. And he gave an example. So Indian Rayon had a factory in Veraval. Veraval is in Gujarat, in Saurashtra. And in 1 year, there was a severe shortage of water near the factory. And the Rayon factory needs water. Now, if you do an MIS, at that time, Aditya Birla was then, the chairman of the group and the CEO and the managing director. You know what kind of reports were going to him? It was not the usual reports which used to go to him. The MIS completely changed, and he, as the chairman of the company, used to get report on what is the water availability in that particular area and how much the plant is able to procure water. Because that was a critical thing then. So, to tell you another example, which again Anand Rathi had given and I distinctly remember, he was in DCM, he said. And there was a fire in DCM. So obviously, the fire report went. But thereafter, there was always a fire report which went on in the MIS, that there is no fire. Now, fire don't occur every day. It's once in a lifetime event which occurs. So all that I'm trying to say is MIS is very dynamic and it needs to change with times. Needs to change with what is the critical factor today. For example, in the morning we heard about tariffs. In today's time, today's environment, we heard that, we live in a situation where the US president, he declares something in the morning, after a few hours, thoughts change, something else. In such a dynamic, and businesses, you can't, adjust to things, changes so fast. But be that as it may, we are living in this situation today. And therefore, businesses who are getting impacted by that particular, factor of tariff, the MIS should get geared to that. So MIS has become actually more intelligent. It should be not just a mundane kind of reporting on numbers which do not say anything else. It should be able to predict and get into the future as to what are the problems which the company is facing or the entity is facing. And accordingly, the MIS should throw out what are the rectifications which are needed to address whatever issue the company or the entity is facing. So that's the dynamic. And of course, we live in an age of artificial intelligence. And I'm sure all of you must be, knowingly or unknowingly, must be using artificial intelligence. We don't even know whether we are using artificial intelligence. If you do a Google today, the first thing which comes out is artificial intelligence. And then the results come out. So we all are using artificial intelligence. And MIS, coupled with artificial intelligence, would open a plethora of opportunities, and it would throw light to several, possible solutions to problems which arise because of whatever we are facing. Be that as it may, a very important subject, MIS. We have a brilliant panel of people who are day in and day out dealing with MIS, and therefore we all will be highly enlightened with the deliberations which take place in the panel today, and I look forward to healthy deliberations. So with these opening remarks, I would hand over the proceedings to the moderator to take forward the proceeding.
This is the sentiment first I want to express. He is the man who signed my certificate of membership when I qualified. So I am thankful to you, sir, that I am sitting as a council member here today. And couple of very interesting things which I have been listening to. And most importantly, when Kamlesh Bhai specifically talked about Aditya Birla Group particularly, and fortunately I have that little, credit. The most unique way of doing MIS, which was more of a historical. The historical data gave to a level where things have been, on a daily basis, they used to get the profitability known. That itself was something which was, when we got into the chartered accountancy and when I used to listen from my father that this is the kind of MIS they have, that itself is a new learning when we got in. So from that historical data to what was current, which is on a real-time basis, is also becoming very, very important at this point in time. How quick my systems are, how quick my technology adoption is happening in my entire organization, and what is the important information by click of button am I getting it. And the third one is the futuristic, which is more of using of AI, where you are able to predict, analyze, and think about what can be the future condition based on my historical thing. AI cannot work without the historical data. So let's agree to one fact. Fortunately, I was the chairman last year and now I'm the vice chairman of that committee as such, where we trained close to 35,000 people, chartered accountants across the country as a certification course. And today they are understanding the importance of that factor. But parallelly, when I'm just actually working on certain engagement, is basically what is happening is lot of MSMEs which are actually to be defined, 500 crores is the threshold limit which has been put in for this MSME turnover. In most of the listed companies also, we do not have the CFOs rightly placed. And I think the group CFO is playing a role of all the entities across the board. And the big challenge is coming is how do I collect the data? And this data is only a data till the time it is not coming in a meaningful manner, which is ultimately an MIS. And when you talk about this MSME particularly, which we were discussing in the previous session, the most important part which we all have to understand is rather than today, most of the chartered accountant role is getting eliminated as a compliance officer. Now it is becoming more of an advisory. So why I am coming there, just to conclude my point is, the opportunity which is lying in not only as a compliance officer but as an information provider when private equity is coming to these people to tell that okay, this business looks very good for us and we are interested. But what is happening is two impacts. One, the promoter is not able to give the right information at right time, so the confidence building is actually missing out. Number two is basically the compliance part which is to be done on a regular basis, because the transparent economy which India has become over a period of time, where lot of compliance are to be reported, and today the integration of data which has happened at various government level is actually giving all the red signals saying that this is complied, this has not been complied. So what I would like to say in sum total is, like when you are talking about using of information technology, whether you are using a Tally or people using SAP, SAP also is used in capacity of Tally only in most of the cases. They are not using the fullest analytical tools which are available in SAP or Oracle or Dynamics or anything. So what is important for all of us is if we are able to be the business advisors in form of giving them the right information, trust me, the valuation for you as an individual chartered accountant will come, provided instead of being a cost center to file income tax return, GST returns, you become a value center for an organization which will actually take you to a different level. The respect what you are going to get is totally different. So for that, primarily you need to understand the kal, aaj or kal of the entire organization in very effective manner. Historical data, how do you compile, get it at one place? how is it made relevant for today and how it has been analyzed for the future, looking at the going concern, the kind of business which is into, and the predictive analysis what you can get it. I think if you are able to consolidate this together, this session is going to,
Sure.
make very well use of it.
We'll try to touch upon all these aspects you mentioned there, sir. And coincidentally, me and Jugal bhai were talking yesterday, and he was explaining that how Parda system of Birla's was the real, real-time accounting kind of every day needs to. So Jugal bhai, if you can please enlighten us on that bit more.
Good morning, friends. I think there are two things. As Kamlesh bhai, since he began, and even Dayanivas sir, he has also spoken about the Parda thing. See, what is important is that as a chartered accountant, financial management subject was part of our curriculum. All of us have studied. And if you look at what is the Parda system and what is the MIS. So Parda is nothing more than, you can say even more than what is MIS. So another term, one of the term of MIS is Management Information System. And the fact, if you give the another name to MIS, is the Marwadi Information System. Okay. So Parda is basically, like many people, they refer it as a Marwadi accounting system or the Marwadi information system. How many of you know what is Parda? See, every time in a day-to-day thing, when you go to shop to buy anything, you will ask, ये mobile कितने में पड़ता है? That is what you inquire. That what is the cost of this particular instrument? Now, how do you correlate the same term in your accounting and use it as a management tool? So that is important. So, like if you really translate the Parda, and Parda is a term and the subject which has been very well researched globally. Even if you will go in Harvard, you will find the research paper which is there on the Parda system, which is the Marwadi accounting system. And what does it says? It says is what will be the net return, okay, of your pocket. So how the Parda system it got evolved. So frankly speaking, means it got innovated. Whatever is written is the GT Birla. He not only innovated, formulated and implemented. And that was the reason, that is how even while he is, wherever he is, he knew what is happening across the country in hundreds of factories. Day to day, what progress is being made, what are the challenges, how it used to work. Like we have seen in our financial management unit and accounts, that you need to have the annual budget. Okay, so they used to call that what is their annual performance target. And then they used to break it down to monthly performance target. Monthly performance target, they used to further break it down to daily performance target. And since in manufacturing organization, the daily performance also, it is sometimes what happens that the factory is being run in shift. So they said ki there can be overlapping, that if the challenges which is faced by one shift, it might not be relevant in other shift. Okay, night shift can have different challenge, day shift can have different challenge. So then they started fixing up shift-wise target. So what are the target? So daily performance target, or you can say shift performance target. And after every shift, there used to be shift performance report. Now in our accounting and financial management, what we have seen, that whatever is your performance report is there, you have to make a comparison with the target which has been set. So when you make a comparison of your actual performance with the target, what you will end up? You will end up with the variances. All of us have studied what are the variances, okay? And then you have to do the variance analysis. Once you do the variance analysis, then you can pinpoint that these are the challenges because of this, whatever negative variances have come, you have to address those negative variances, and that has to happen in the live scenario. Now the live scenario definition has changed. Now when we talk about the live environment means instantaneously. There, even if you are taking the action after every shift, that used to be considered as a live scenario management. And that is more than enough. So the whole Parda system which we are talking of and which is being studied and that is being implemented, and that is how all this Birla Group management has happened. that used to be on this target setting exercise, and then reviewing the performance, and then making a comparison of the target with the actual performance, arriving at the variances, and then you come up with the situation that what are the actions required for those negative variances, and in case if there are positive variances are there, they used to make sure. See, in case of any positive variances in Parta system, they used to take what is the best achieved historically, and their ambition and the target used to be, let us put that number as a best achieved number and always focus in every shift, can you achieve that best achieved number? So that used to the whole mechanism work, and that was the, in gist we can say, that was the Parta system, and that is what in real life, every company also operate in the similar fashion. See, your data source will change, whether it is coming by way of telex, fax, email, or now in the live scenario, but ultimately the businesses has to be run in this fashion.
No wonder this Parta system is being studied or being taught at Harvard. As you can see that how a MIS can contribute to a business house's success and in such a big way. So Kumar sir, any your perspective in terms of how or what MIS used to be and how it has evolved in your today's day life challenge?
Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I just want to express my feelings similar to Mr. Sharma mentioned. It's an honor to be sitting next to Kamlesh Bhatt. When I started my journey in CA at Chennai, I used to go to the institute. For us, going to the institute and attending classes in the evening was matter of routine. And as we entered, there used to be a big board, and I used to look at the names of people who were the presidents of and vice president at the institute. And I'm feeling happy that, those days what used to give goosebumps in terms of looking at just reading out the names and just sitting next to him. So let's give him a round of applause for making some time available. Okay, no, what is measured is what is done in organizations, in our own personal life. Okay, if we measure something, okay, and we certainly make progress. So MIS is all about, bringing some update, okay, on a regular basis in terms of where are we with respect to some of the key deliverables that organizations would have identified as something which they need to achieve. Okay. So MIS as a process has evolved quite a bit. Okay, in organizations today we call it as a performance management. Okay, in the sense that needless to say that anything to do with the performance of an organization, the right person to be responsible for accountable for is the finance guy. Okay, it is not necessary the performance management has to focus on financial numbers. The performance management could be anything else beyond the financial numbers. It could be even how a factory is running, how utilization of a factory is, how we are deploying cash. It could be many other things. So therefore, finance guys and a person with a CA qualification will always have a solid, advantage over any other person in terms of reporting the performance of an organization in terms of how we are doing vis-a-vis the targets or benchmarks. So over a period of time, okay, for example, when I was doing CA, if a company was allowed to publish the results 6 months from the end of the financial year, there is nothing called as quarterly reporting. Okay, and there used to be companies who used to seek additional time to report. So as shareholders, people got to know about the performance of the organization, not on a quarterly basis, but on an annual basis and 6 months later. So I'm sure people would have invested money, possibly looking at the financial numbers, assuming that was the only source of information for somebody to take a decision. Today, we move to quarterly. Okay, even within a quarter, within an organization, we have multiple timelines. Okay, as was earlier mentioned, if you increase the frequency of that, okay, then it gives you that many opportunities for you to understand where you stand and how you can take corrective actions. So with the progress in technology, I think what used to be done once a quarter got shifted to once a month. What got done once a month got shifted to once a week. What was done once a week, maybe on a daily basis. So therefore, it helps you to take necessary corrective action, okay, wherever it is required. So performance management has evolved a lot. finance has a huge role to play in terms of driving performance in organization and also taking responsibility in terms of ensuring that we have proper performance management system. And therefore, it is important that, we focus a lot, not necessarily in terms of providing the data to the organization, but in something beyond that. And that's where I would like to say in terms of how it has progressed.
Amit, one point. I'm just talking in capacity of a vice chairman of this committee. One request to you all is basically, history is something which is very good for all of us. But the most important point, which I would like to put it forward, so going forward, though Amit is going to take it up, when we are talking about the unlocking power of MIS, we wanted this discussion primarily to go from a perspective that organizations which are mature, they have been doing extremely good, and that's the reason they are where they are. But we, in this particular session, are trying to look at from a perspective where this organization which are about to grow, and the role of auditor, or might be a chartered accountant as a consultant, what is a role of MIS? If that has been put before a private equity guy or venture capital fund, or might be a strategic investor, how it is going to move, and what is that each one of us might be as a consultant, as an advisor, should be looking at, is the point which we wanted to take it. So I think
Sure.
just to put it from a context, because just wanted to put it very clear. Yeah.
No, that's fine, Daya. So, thanks for your perspective, Mr. Kumar, but why we are discussing about this MIS in this forum and so many people hearing us? What has changed in say 60s to today's world? Just give you a perspective. In 2000, we used to use data which is 0.04 zettabytes. Okay, and to tell you what is 1 zettabyte is, if you put a 1 zettabyte data on a DVD, and if you put it around the earth, you can take 222 times you can wrap around the earth. So that much is the data which is 1 zettabyte. In 2000, we used to use 0.04 zettabyte data. In 2023, we used to use 120 zettabyte data. In 2024, it's 141. And in 2025, we might be closing around 185 zettabyte. So you see the growth of the data which we are, so this data explosion basically has changed the MIS completely, or the, there's a lot of challenges in the reporting because of this data explosion. Any thoughts on Jugal bhai, like how do you see that this data types are changing, maybe structured and unstructured, or the kind of volume which we are consuming to generate the MIS now?
See, data explosion is like accessibility to data. That has gone up. But what is important is the relevance of data. That is very, very important. And wherever, in whatever business you are, you need to narrow down that what is being relevant to you. Okay. That is because you might have exponential data, but it is necessary that we should not be lost into the data. Because I remember one incident when I first came to Mumbai, Kamlesh bhai, and when I took the admission in the hostel. So one of my friend, we went to a shop, and to a hardware shop, and he was inquiring कि ये 1 इंच का कील बताना, उसने बताया. बोले अच्छा 1.5 इंच वाला कील बताना, उसने 1.5 इंच वाला बताया. बोले 2 इंच वाला, अच्छा इसका क्या भाव है? बोले ये इतना रुपए किलो है. तो then he was asking so many questions. अच्छा ये इसमें ब्लैक की जगह वाइट है क्या? तो बोला किसके लिए चाहिए, कहाँ से आए हो? बोले हम हॉस्टल में रहते हैं. तो अरे भैया तो तुमको 2 कील चाहिए ना कपड़े सुखाने के लिए. So why you are making so many inquiries? तो प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि see if you ask so many irrelevant questions and which you will be completely bogged down. So what is important is we should not succumb under the pressure of data. What is relevant, that is the role of chartered accountant. Okay, you will have to filter out all the unwanted data, and it is like timeless journey. It was relevant 50 years back, it is relevant today also, that in case, see, that is the role of a professional from any point of view. Whether if you are approaching a PE investor, whether you are approaching an auditor, whether you are approaching a customer, whether you are approaching your market, what is important is what is the relevant data which is going to suffice the purpose. You need to build your database, your report, and the insight on that report that has to be relevant. And that is where I think we should not be completely bogged down what sort of data is available on the internet. And frankly speaking, it is costing us. See, I was just reading few days back that on Google, whatever we used to search, now everybody has started using the AI. Now by using the AI for the same purpose, it is going to cost the globally 10x of the power consumption is going to increase because you have started using the AI. So that is where the data is available, but what is important is we need to find relevance, and what is relevant for our business, what is relevant for the new generation business, what you want to do, and use that data. Even like, so that is why we can keep on discussing, but what is important is we have to completely correlate what business line is in which CA is pursuing his career or he is associated with which company, and what data is relevant, his focus should be on that.
And that's a nice perspective, Jugal bhai. And if you can add, Kumar, like, I mean, for any MIS, you need to have a data foundation led, right? I mean, your HR data should talk to your finance data or to your factory data and everything. So what kind of challenges you have seen before you come to the MIS? What kind of foundation and the participants or the audience would need to understand that what is, like say, base, what is your knee ka patthar before you go ahead and put a good building on top of it?
It's a very important, it's so easy to get carried away by a lot of things that we read, lot of things that we watch. Okay, and there is no newspaper today, at least business newspaper, which has not covered about AI. There is no program on CNBC or ET without something on AI on that particular day. There is no speaker in a conference who doesn't speak about AI, okay, in a particular session. So therefore, it's so easy to get carried away by AI. Okay, I agree with Jugal bhai in terms of, it is important to focus on the relevant data and work on them. Okay, I'll come to that question. In a corporate, when you make a presentation, assuming that, look, I have lots of data and therefore I want to present it on the screen, we call it as a crowded sheet, a crowded slide, whatever, depending on what you present.
Yeah.
You are lost. You lost the audience already the moment you present so much of data. Okay, so therefore, it's easy to attract the attention of people with less data but relevant data. Okay, and sometimes it's also called as elevator speech. By any chance, if you get into a lift, okay, with somebody, let's assume you are working for a company, a chairman of the company is there in the lift, you are entered into the lift, and then he asks, I believe you attended a CA Institute conference yesterday, how did it go? By the time you reach, assuming that person is in the 5th floor or a 7th floor, by the time the lift reaches the 5th floor or 7th floor, you should have summarized what happened. Okay, that's called as elevator speech.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's all about data at level. It's important to go into data, but when it comes to management decision making, when it comes to engaging with stakeholders and things like that, it is important that you make it crisp so that you are able to still convey. The question on data part of integrity part, foundation part, which was your question, garbage in is garbage out.
Yeah.
Okay, so for us to have high quality performance management reports, it is important that the data is properly integrated. From a manufacturing industry perspective, we try to develop multiple systems. It could be on the ERP, it could be on Industry 4.0 in a factory where we wanted equipment to talk to each other. We always found there was some loss of data. Okay, for example, in a machine plant, you have SCADA, you have PLC, okay, you have a central database, and you have many other ancillary information flow through which you get the information. We have always seen there is some amount of data which is not matching. For example, if you are getting a production data from a machine at machine level through a SCADA and through a PLC, when you aggregate it, it doesn't match. When you really want to know in a finished goods system the total stock information, and if you compare with the CRP system, there is a difference. Sometimes it may go into reasons which we don't understand, and then we may come to a wrong conclusion. Even a percentage difference will make a difference with respect to efficiency. So therefore, when you really want to start this journey, okay, in terms of leveraging technology, using the data for right and relevant decisions, it is important that you make the foundations right. Okay, start the journey with ensuring that all interlinkages are right. There's no loss of data, irrespective of how you take the data, the same information from different sources, all of them match is the first step in the journey to make a best-in-class performance management system or a best-in-class MIS system. Huge amount of effort has to be put in. Once you put that right, foundations right, rest of that will follow.
See, I'll add to the foundation by a live example. So when I said that the relevance, suppose if all of us are sitting here when we are talking about the credit, because BFSI sector, if I have to launch a product for financing thing, so how do I decide that what data foundation I am going to use it? So suppose somebody, if I want to start a product for lending, okay, so it's very